My name is Travis, and I came up with the idea to create the Kickstarter to send a TARDIS into space. I figured that I wasn't going to be able to do the entire thing by myself, so I went and talked to a couple of my friends about enlisting them to help me with the project.
My name is Ben, and I helped with the conception and painting and construction of the TARDIS. That is going to be eventually assembled and painted. Finished side.
Hello, I'm Whit. I help with the TARDIS project. I did a lot of the building of the actual payload, the container that we sent it up with, as well as I bankrolled some of the money.
Here's our space TARDIS box. Too bad we couldn't find TARDIS blue aluminum foil.
So Travis and I are at Steak and Shake one night.
I'd seen a few videos on YouTube where people send up a weather balloon with a video camera.
And he was telling me about a bunch of videos where people had taken things and they would record it going up into the lower atmosphere. And we got to thinking, what if we did that only with a TARDIS?
I wanted to send a TARDIS up into space because I'm a huge Doctor Who fan.
The next evening, I get a text message with a link to a Kickstarter to send a TARDIS up into the atmosphere.
When he first started talking about it, it sounded like fun. I mean, he launched the Kickstarter page from my apartment at like 3 in the afternoon.
The Kickstarter response was massive. We only asked for $500 over the course of 14 days, and by that night, we already had over $800.
The next day, and the two of us are freaking out because suddenly we have almost $1,300 donated in less than 24 hours.
And by the end of the Kickstarter, we had over $3 grand of donations. So while the Kickstarter was active, I decided to send a tweet to ThinkGeek to let them know that I was going to do this project, and they took a very definite interest in the whole thing, and it was amazing. So during that day, I was in email correspondence with a woman from ThinkGeek, and we were talking about ways to possibly get ThinkGeek involved in the project. She wanted to put Timmy, the little ThinkGeek monkey, inside of the TARDIS, but I knew that I wanted to pump that TARDIS full of some sort of foaming agent so it didn't bust up when it landed. But then I had the Jack Harkness idea, because there's an episode of Doctor Who where Jack Harkness runs after the Doctor closes the door of the TARDIS and takes off, and Jack latches onto the outside of the TARDIS and holds on for dear life. And I wanted to do that with Timmy. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a Timmy shirt, it's because we are also sending Timmy up. Now for those of you that don't know, Timmy is the mascot for the website ThinkGeek.
And then Travis tells me about ThinkGeek, that they want to be involved in the project. And that we're going to send a Timmy up attached to the TARDIS. But not just a Timmy, Jack Harkness Timmy.
We'll be attaching Timmy onto the outside of the TARDIS when we launch him up.
This of course means that Timmy is immortal. Yeah, go with that, ThinkGeek. It's a good angle for you.
There's a woman employed by ThinkGeek where her job is coming up with outfits for Timmy to wear, and she made a specific Jack Harkness outfit for Timmy. They made him a Jack Harkness coat.
Best job ever.
Best job ever.
I mean, just a big sponsor like ThinkGeek made it actually seem legit. I'm joined by a little friend. Oh, hello.
While we were talking to ThinkGeek, they asked us, hey, is there anything else that you want us to send along? Like some free cool stuff. I thought, well, if they're asking, yeah, let's throw together a wish list. Completely ridiculous list of things that, hey, if they sent us maybe 1 or 2 of them, that would be really cool.
When Travis told us that ThinkGeek was first interested, I was really excited because I knew I was going to get my periodic table shower curtain, which I did, and it's awesome.
Sponsors.
So after we got the amazing Jack Harkness Timmy in the mail, we were able to redesign the TARDIS to actually, not to scale, but for him to actually hold on to and not make it too massive or too small.
Like a King Kong Timmy. Travis gave me a box and some balsa wood that was about 1/4 done. I put the rest of it all together, spray painted it all up, and it was beautiful.
Ben is putting the very, very final last-minute touches on the
The very
TARDIS.
moment I learn how to use a glue gun, I promise this thing will be done. And about 11 hours of work.
And Ben is done with the TARDIS in his Timo hat.
I hope you enjoy it. I put a lot of hard work into this thing, and I like to think I did pretty good.
It's so beautiful.
Now the problem is that we knew that there was a nationwide helium shortage, but every Walmart, Meijer, Drug Mart that I went into, they all had a big helium tank to blow up balloons. So I figured that helium was going to be expensive, but not that it just was completely inaccessible to us.
So we worked all night putting together the payload, putting the finishing touches on our nice little wooden TARDIS. Everything was finally done except for sleeping beforehand, and once places started to open up, Travis started calling everywhere.
So the morning that we tried to attempt this for the very first time, I'm calling a whole bunch of places all around Ohio. Nobody's renting me a tank of helium.
All of them said no, and a few of them laughed at us.
One party place in particular in town sort of laughed at me. Don't you know that there's a helium shortage? Yeah, I know. I keep hearing it everywhere.
When we first couldn't get helium, I don't know, if this was a Japanese cartoon, I think the bubble would have appeared above my head with like the ... I didn't really know where to go from there because we had no definite ending on when we were going to get helium or how much it was going to cost. And that kind of put a big damper on things a bit.
It was probably the most disheartening feeling ever because we put all of that work into it, and then helium, the sort of focal point of getting it up in the air, was just gone completely.
Eventually I find this store that's selling these party tanks, and each tank is 14.9 cubic feet of helium. And we need a lot of them, so we buy a lot of them. I spend almost $300 just on this helium.
These things are cold!
Yeah, by the way, these things are cold. The place we got the party tanks was a lot of fun. Watching boxes about yay big, full of helium tanks, and trying to fit 7 of them in Travis's car, which is not very big, by the way. It's a smaller 2-door car. What was almost worse was the failed attempts, knowing that we were out there, we were ready, everything was going to go, and we have one time where our balloon just doesn't fill with enough helium despite all 7 tanks.
So we get the weather balloon, we get the package already, we get the helium, we get out to this field that we're going to launch from, only to find out that we didn't have enough helium.
Party tanks were terrible.
It looks like some kind of alien cocoon, but it's really just awesomeness carrying our TARDIS to the sky.
Alien cocoon carrying an alien time machine.
It was a means to an end, but it really wasn't because they didn't work at all.
Okay, sure. Alright. I feel like it's golden.
Alright.
There you go. Oh, are you kidding me?
The best part is after we had finished it and the balloon was filled and all the helium was gone, you're like, careful, don't let it go. And I let it go and it just sat there. It didn't go anywhere.
Wow.
The balloon only expanded to maybe 3 to 4 feet in diameter, and we needed it to be about 6 feet.
Like, I feel it trying to.
It wasn't going to happen then. We needed to figure something out, and we needed to do it quick.
What can we take out?
We had to redesign the whole thing. We needed to make the package lighter, we needed to get more helium somehow.
The TARDIS doesn't weigh much. The board weighs a lot.
So after we get the Mach 2 package ready to go, it's lighter than the first one. We're planning on buying more party tanks than the first time and actually getting it off the ground.
So we finished the Mach 2. We're getting ready for the next day. And Travis tells me, I'm going to go get the helium and then we'll swing by your place.
I'm calling a whole bunch of places to try to get these little party tanks. And the party store that laughed at me about helium the first time responded with, "Why do you need so many little party tanks? Why don't you just rent a big tank of helium?" Nah.
He sends me a picture of a full-size helium tank. Tells me that the party place that laughed at us in our faces and in our dreams had one. And we're surprised that we wanted the small ones.
But the helium shortage was not our only roadblock for this project. We ran into every issue, from balloons popping to not having enough helium to the camera batteries dying and not having enough time to charge them.
It's actually just harder those times.
Like, everything seemed to always go wrong whenever we would actually attempt this.
You know, we're there, we're so close, but just can't get into the air.
And the worst part about constantly failing at this project was telling the backers, because I hated hey, sorry, didn't work again, gonna have to try in a couple more weeks. I know you paid me money to do this, but after this is all said and done, after the $3,000 that the Kickstarter gave me, I had to put in, my friends and I had to put in $1,300 out of our own pockets to make this project work. Yes, I will pay you back.
You better pay me back.
And after months of attempting and spending all this money out of our own pockets, we finally got it to lift off and retrieved, and the video footage and everything, and it all worked. And it's the most relieving feeling ever. Such a good feeling.
Seeing it launch, floating off into the heavens, turning into a tiny little speck behind the clouds. It was beautiful.
We went to McDonald's right after we grabbed it, and we were going to look at the footage, and we had no idea what we were going to see because we didn't know how high it had gone, if everything had worked correctly, if it hit too hard and the video footage was corrupted or what. And so we put it in there, we looked at a couple of the clips, and the first clip we put in actually was pretty much a clip of the curvature of the Earth. Pretty much what we were going for was the first clip that came up, and that was just kind of like, wow.
And then the next day, I got a picture. Little Harkness Timmy, clinging to the TARDIS with the full glowing curvature of the Earth in the background. And that picture, just that right there, made the whole thing worth it, because it was beautiful and nerdy and fantastic.
The most annoying part of the project, besides running into a helium shortage, would have to be the people commenting, oh, it's not space, it's, you're not actually sending this thing into space. Yes, I know, I realize that. It's just a lot more catchy than send a TARDIS into the lower Earth's atmosphere. Just doesn't have that ring to it. If you could go back in time and do the whole thing over again, would you?
Yes, just not in the winter.
There's a lake right outside the window and it is frozen. We are going to be so cold today. I can't feel my toes.
Yeah, by the way, they're cold.
Not in the winter.
So if you could go back in time and do the whole thing again, would you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there are things that I would change, but no, this project has been amazing.
If you could go back in time and do this project over again, would you?
Which time?
That's a wrap.
So what are you going to do now that the project's completed?
I'm gonna keep making awesome content for this channel. I can plug myself, right? Sure I can. It's my channel.
What are you going to do now that the project is completed?
I don't know, just keep being awesome.
What are you going to do now that the project is completed?
I don't know, just keep doing me. I might make some more YouTube videos here and there. I kind of want to make some more, or a kind of LOL themed YouTube channel, just because I spend a lot of time playing LOL.
Make sure to stay tuned for the next few days when the actual flight video is going to be posted.
Yeah, keep watching. I'm going to have a couple more videos for you until the big launch. So yeah, keep watching.
Stay tuned for the next couple of days when we finally put the footage of the launch up.
I'm excited. I hope you guys are too.
It'll be stuff flying into space and it'll be like monkey and TARDIS, and it'll be gorgeous. It'll be the most beautiful thing you ever done seen.
Timmy, are you ready for your epic voyage into space?
So here's the GPS tracker.